Hello guys, glad to have you on board again today. I'm sorry I wasn't able to record some videos recently. It's been such a mess, and to be honest, you might clearly be able to hear what the problem was. It's basically my nose was just absolutely full of shit, absolutely unable to talk yesterday, so I decided not to record anything. Today is barely in the middle of something acceptable to just record something, so I'm just trying to make it quick with the time I have available to do it. Many scenarios have been reaching to their targets. Obviously, I wasn't able to talk. That doesn't mean I wasn't able to trade or even having a look at the market. I already do that. The thing is that I was following with you guys right into Discord. So most of you already are in there. Some of you aren't yet. So if you're not, you can join us. That's for free. It's absolutely no condition. You don't even need to use the indicators. It's obviously where we do provide the indicator supports. But still, if you want to have access to my signals or whatever, and this is just where you want to do it. I've just been splitting this into two categories. I mean, I have swing alerts and intraday alerts, depending on what you want to trade, and I'm basically going to give you in advance. All right, I'm not telling you I'm buying right now or I'm selling right now. I really don't like that. Like selling signals is definitely not what I want to do in here. It's more likely just help you understanding how anticipative trading, speculative trading does work, how you highlight potential trading areas, and how you manage your trade to take it or not taking it when you get into this area. So that's exactly what we've been doing. Like as an example, I told you yesterday, it was Ethereum daily approaching the target. Just put in my order in the book to a profit take at $278. After I told you I was looking at AUDNZD to buy on the bottoms or stuff like that. There was also a couple of intraday alerts like the Dow Jones and the DAX. We're going to talk about those two obviously, but as you can see, the most importantly is that the Dow Jones trade I might be able to take today has been triggered or it's been alerted by the 15th of May. So I told you about this 2 days ago. So it's just that you know what to trade, you know where to trade it. You just wait for this thing to show up or not. All right. So anyway, let's move on to the market. So just like I said, Ethereum $278. How precise that is? I haven't been that precise for a long time. So I've been profit took right below the expected target. Now that we hear the market is kind of retracing pretty rapidly, we're back into 23% Fibonacci retracement. So that doesn't nearly mean the market is about to reverse. All it says is that, okay, what we have in here definitely says something has been happening, like I'm not the only one who saw this level. So I'm pretty happy I've been profit took right below the resistance, because if it was just $1 lower, I wouldn't have been executed, and we might have, I mean, if I had to suffer this today, there's probably going to be some pullbacks, no worries with that, but I'm happy I'm done with it. So now all the speculative trades are terminated. I've also terminated Ripple. I've been profit took 50% as well, so not at the market top in here obviously, but at the same time it's basically I've been triggering some profit taking. So I'm out of Ripples. I'm not out, I'm 50% out. All right, so out for the speculative trades are over. The buy and holds have been secured, which means I'm now back with the cash I had at the beginning. Remember, for those who are following for quite a long time, I've been putting 15K into the crypto market. Those 15Ks are the 15Ks I made out of selling the Bitcoin. So I've been trading with free money basically, and now that free money is back in the pocket, which means I have 15K on the Bitstamp account ready to buy some more cryptos when the time will come. I don't nearly even think the time is going to come today or tomorrow. I think the time is about to come in multiple months. So I just let it go right now, let this flow, let the range build up, let the range maturing. And stuff like that, and I definitely think it's going to take multiple weeks and probably multiple months as well. So patience now, just following the plan. We've done the first burst. Everybody will think this is alive again and that we're going to have to trade fast. I don't nearly even think that's the context. So let it go for a little while. We'll be back in the game when the volatility will crash out again. And this is when we'll buy. All right. So that's the plan. I'm leaving the crypto aside for a moment until, for the notice at least, until we see the volatility popping down. Regarding the standard market fix is back on support area. Oh, surprisingly that is. I mean, it's still no deal, still nothing good. But anytime Trump opened its fucking mouth, the market is retracing because we so fear to trade against the Fed or against the White House that no one is still moving. So at the moment, remember the two scenarios we had, feeling like we could have a cool summer, nothing goes wrong, everything goes along the way, calm and low volatile summer. That's a possibility. There is also the option number 2, which is everything goes out of control, and this volatile area we've had just literally is exploding to some kind of a black swan showing somewhere, like credit corporate exploding or anything. I mean, it's a black swan. So we've been highlighting potential areas in which this could be triggering. From which it could be triggering, but still that doesn't mean it will trigger. All we do is just to have a look at those areas to see if they are flashing red or not. At the moment nothing flashes red. The junk bonds are under control, VIX seems to be under control, so just look at this. This thing isn't collapsing, so they have it under control. The dollar isn't falling like shit, so I have to admit, and you have to say it, I mean, I'm sorry, but they do play it well. Even though it makes no sense to me, even though I think it's not going to end well, as for now it does end well. That doesn't mean in the long run it will, and I'm pretty sure and confident that it won't, but that's not how you trade. You don't trade what you think. You trade what you think when it goes along what you see. For at the moment, what I see is not what I think. So how do I do against that? I manage the risk. Right, that means I'm in the riskier area. I don't know what the market will do. I don't know how prices will react. I don't know what the hell will happen. I'm not going according to positive plans, so I'm not trading bullish signals. I'm trading only bearish signals, but in speculative areas. So with the risk management, and if it goes wrong, I'm taking my losses. No problem with that. When we reach out to support area, I'm securing the trades and stuff like that. So like I said yesterday, on the 15th, I told you that probably we would retrace out of the Dow Jones, which seems to be the weakest one to me. And I told you to have a look at the selling 1 hour context, all right, because we had early ranging signals in here. Like I said, this range was pretty much, wasn't mature enough. We were back in here. So I told you, no, first of all, we wait for prices to get into the selling context and we'll see how it goes. Simple as that, all right? We trade this area and we trade it with a signal. We got overbought with a nice cyclical signal, all right? So you can see a breakout. We didn't finish this cycle, but that's exactly what happens in ranges. We fucked up the timing to get to resistance, to get in some buyers, making them think they're under control. They're not. They're going to lose in control, and we're going to just break down almost as simple as that. We're probably going to use 2 sets of waves to the downside, and probably I expect retracing down to the original support, or at least to the 76% fib. So for those who taken that trade, now you got a good trade. It's an overbought signal. That's exactly what you want in the kind of bearish range structure we could have. So it's the usual range strategy. You're taking profit number 1 at 61% fib, taking profit number 2 at 76, and you don't overthink things. All right, this range is far from being mature. It's just selling the top, and you will try to buy the bottom. It's simple as that. All right, we're just gonna play ping pong kind of game in this area. We don't know where the bottom will be, so you lock on the gain at 61 just in case, and you make sure that you stop at break even whenever we cross down 50% fib. All right, so going in there is stop at break even. Going in there, first profit taking for those who are low risk profile, and second taking profit for every fucking one if we reach out 76% fib. All right, that simple as that. It's just a simple range strategy. You're in range, you're trading boundaries. That's simple as that. All right, so that's exactly what I've done, and I think it's working just fine at the moment. So I'm not doing any fucking thing with this until we reach out to the 50% fib, like I said. So I'm going to put a validation level in here, or it's more likely a confirmation, I would say. All right, so I would say confirmation is in there. So to those who have this trade, you put a confirmation alert out of the 50% fib. Whenever this thing triggers, then you know you'll be able to put the stop loss at break even and forecast the first profit taking to be triggered. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry, but my nose is going wrong again, and I think you can hear it. So I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm just going to go quickly telling you what I expect for the WTI. Kind of rising a little bit more seems to be the plan to me. This profit-taking structure with a crazy upward momentum doesn't really even fit the plan. I think we're going to go a little bit higher. Remember that the profit-taking structure generally suggests the bulls are getting out. That doesn't mean the bears are getting in. So I rather like to make sure the bears are taking in control, which so far I don't think they do. I think we're just consolidating like two sets of waves, retracing to a neutral momentum, and I think the next sets of waves is the one that's going to be divergence, kind of going in there, bam. And then this is where I think we're going to have the exit signal, or at least something that'll be better in terms of risk management. So kind of building some sort of triangle, making another upward move, and this is in this area, the expected area that I think I'm going to have a look at some interesting signals that may be triggering. I gave you AUDNZD as well. This one is kind of fucking hesitating in there. We had the news, and instead of V-shape reversing like we did the last time, we had to go there again, and I don't really like that. So it feels like, I don't know, but something doesn't go according to the plan. We might have to go a little bit lower. So anyway, this thing is bullish. I have absolutely no doubt with that. The thing is just that it may require some risk management and some shit ton of patience in here. You know, this asset is a pain in the ass, and I think either we could be there in a few days, all right? And in that perspective, if you don't take the trade, you're going to regret that, because there is a signal, you have to take it. The thing is that just have a look at the cycle, all right? The cycle is in here, and it still could have a few more days to play its game, and I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if we were just keep on going straight line in here to meet with the context. And if we're going back into context, this is where we're going to get the support, right? So that will be support in here, which means we'll go from context to context. So afterwards, we're probably going to have to do this. The bearish context will do that. All right, and we're going to have to accumulate in this area before the breakout. So anyway, remember how to trade this. All right, we've got different profiles, and remember how it goes. Let me just pull up the PDF manual for a second. You must remember that some cases won't be able to be traded with some profiles. Like, remember this one, the ranges, you don't trade out without having at least a year of experience. So you don't get into trading the ranges in a trending way unless you have a little bit of experience with the strategy. Otherwise, it's just a little bit harder to manage. So if you don't have the experience, you're exposing yourself to higher level of risk that you might not be able to handle, and that means you're probably going to take a loss, which is absolutely what we must avoid. When you're learning, you're not focusing on making easy gains and stuff like that. You most likely want to focus on avoiding stupid losses. Making losses is absolutely normal. That's how you're going to learn. So don't blame yourself. If you're losing, that's how everyone processes and gets better at trading. The thing is that if you take stupid losses by just wanting to be too aggressive or stuff like that, those losses aren't necessary. They're not going to teach you anything but the fact that you were too aggressive. And being aggressive when you're learning is just like thinking you can be a track pilot when you just got your license, or at least trying to get your license. So the thing is, all right, when we're trading ranges, what I teach you guys is that the beginners don't trade the range, all right? The beginners, you let it go with the range. All you can trade is the range boundary, like this, all right? You can trade the third range boundary because that's the easiest one to do, all right? So that's the only one the beginners were able to trade. Remember that the rule is we're fourth range boundary seeking for, all right? 1, 2, 3, and we're looking at for the fourth, which means the range is now mature. When we have mature range, beginners don't trade, simply because this range can be tricky. It can be extended, you can change different directions, stuff like that. So ranges are complex, and you need to have enough experience, at least 1 year of experience facing markets on a day-to-day basis, to make sure that you understand how ranges works. Because if you think it's just a sideways action before going back into some more action, that's not how it works. I mean, ranges can sometimes take freaking long time to put in place before actually something happens afterwards. So what you do when you're beginning is that you wait for the range, the mature range, to terminate its shit, and you wait for the accumulation. Remember what an accumulation is where you stuck between a context and the trend channel that will support or resist on the opposite side. All right, so what you're going to wait for now is to get back to this context and accumulate with the support trend channel. And when you'll have this, you'll say, okay, the range is mature, the bulls are taking it under control, they're probably going to break out sooner or later. And this is exactly what you're going to take as beginners. You're going to take one trade in the range, one trade in the breakout, and your range trade will pay for the stop loss. That's pure and simple. This is the easiest way to get into markets safely with a low risk profile and stuff like that. All right? So if I tell you that, it isn't to force you out of some trades. It's just that some trades are not meant for beginners. It's simple like that. I mean, they're too complex, too tricky, and I don't want you to get into a tricky situation, because if it's too tricky, then you're just gonna not learn any fucking thing out of it. If it's just a little bit tricky, then you're gonna progress. So I'm giving you those kinds of trades, but you need to be aware of what level you currently are, and if you're trying to step ahead of the next level too early, then you're just gonna fail, and that's not how that's not good, because you rather like to be progressing step by step. That's a long process. I've been clear with that. If you want to jump in too early and want to go straight to the final to the final line, then you're probably just going to fail. So the only guys who make it out there are the ones that have patience, that have a mindset, that put a plan in motion. They know it takes years to get there, and they're doing it intentionally and smartly. And these are the guys who make it. All right. So anyway, I'm going to stop in here because I think it's more than about time for me to spare some energy for my nose. Stick to the plans. I think gold and selling stocks is the plan, but still it is Friday, so if you do it with very large stop losses, which I do myself. I'm back into trading. I'm back at trading summer mode, which means I'm putting leverage divided by 2 on every trade I take, and I do put larger stop loss. But as you can see, I mean, the 1 hour is giving us the signal. Has given us the signal. Now it's 4 hour who is triggered with a closed candle with a divergent structure. So I would say what we're having here is good. I mean, the sine wave isn't yet confirming. So that's exactly what I think. We might have just a pullback in here and another range later on. Kind of, we fail in here, bam, and then the range is extending. And that's by the next time that we'll be able to sell again in that beautiful 4 hour accumulation. All right, kind of accumulating 4 hour before breaking it down. And if we do break down 4 hour, then oh my goodness, we're gonna go way beyond this. I think we're gonna go there. All right, so if we do accumulate in here and break down, that's exactly what I'd like to see. We'll go straight to my next target and I'll make a shit ton of money, but it's hard to say. All right, that's the plan. Like I said, that's what I have in mind. That doesn't mean that's what's gonna happen. So if it happens, I'll definitely trade it. But I'll trade any signal according to this plan, which is, for now I might have one, but I think it's not enough to consider being aggressively targeting 38% fib or anything like that. So I think we're just building a range, a bigger range in a 4 hour context, and we might have to oscillate in there for a little bit. All right, see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend.